especially in moments when you're most vulnerable. But enough about toilet paper. It's not the only place where brand names might edge out the competition. Consider technology. If you've ever purchased a generic phone charger, you may have discovered that while it physically resembles the one that came with your device, it often doesn't perform as well. It might charge your phone slowly, overheat, or worse, damage your device. Brand name electronics and accessories often go through more rigorous testing and have tighter quality control standards. They're built to work specifically with your device, and that assurance comes at a cost that can sometimes be well worth it. The $7 off-brand charger might seem like a steal until it fries your $1,000 phone. The same principle applies to tools and appliances. If you're a professional contractor or even a committed do-it-yourselfer, you know the difference between a power drill that lasts 5 years and one that struggles after 5 uses. Companies like DeWalt or Milwaukee have earned their reputations. Their products are built with high-grade materials, they're tested in tough conditions, and they often come with solid warranties. A generic tool might look similar, but in practice, it might let you down when the job really matters. It's not just about spending more, it's about spending wisely. Now, there's also clothing. Now, in fashion, brand names can carry a wide range of implications. Sometimes it's quality, other times it's just style and social signaling. With basics like socks or undershirts, you can often get excellent performance from generics or store brands. But when you move into specialized items, like outdoor gear or performance wear, the brand often tells a story about how the item was made, how it performs under pressure, and how long you can expect it to last. A Patagonia jacket isn't just a name, it's a combination of ethically sourced materials, proven durability, and a return policy that backs up the product. If you're climbing a mountain, you're hiking through the snow, or you're facing wind and rain, you want something that's been tested, something where the name isn't just marketing, but a promise. In food, and it gets even more complicated. Some people swear by brand name cereals, chips, and condiments. Taste is, of course, subjective, but the subtle differences in flavor, texture, and freshness can be significant. Heinz ketchup, for example, has a very specific taste that generic brands often fail to replicate. It's not just tomatoes and vinegar. It's a recipe that's been perfected over more than a century. When you're hosting a barbecue or feeding picky kids, that difference can matter. Although, truth be told, I'm a Hunt's guy as opposed to a Heinz guy. I know. But at the same time, store-brand cheese, milk, or pasta can be virtually indistinguishable from their brand name counterparts. just as importantly, can I find something just as good for less? The answer isn't the same for every product or every person. For one family, generic cereal is perfectly fine. For another, it's a sacrifice that's just not worth making. For one worker, generic tools might do the job. For another, they'd be a liability. It's not about snobbery or being frugal. It's about context, about knowing when to save and when to invest. It's about knowing when to compromise and when to hold the line. So yes, buy generic when the ingredients are the same, when the difference is only skin deep, and when the brands add nothing but cost